What's up, guys? It's Andrew. So, I'm here to address a question that I got about veterans owning programs that train dogs. And what do I think about that? Because they want to know, can this person who owns companies like this produce high quality dogs because they are veterans and more than likely former military canine handlers? Well, with that said, military canines, 98% of them are tasked and tasked only with looking for explosives. They are nose dogs, bomb dogs. They do not do apprehensions, they do not do KC type missions. Less than 2% do hands on engagements or apprehensions of subjects, suspects, terrorists, threats. And out of that, the ones that are high speed are less than 1%. There's less than 1% that do KC type missions. So, just because the dog that you get from a program like this or from a trainer like this that is owned by a veteran, the veteran is the trainer of the dog, does not mean that he is giving your dog the same type of training as SEAL team dogs, which people apparently want. In fact, they don't even get the training to perform to the standards of SEAL teams members in order to be able to train the dog to SEAL team standards. Because most dogs that go through the program are controlled and handled by MPs, people with the bare minimum standards with handling a dog, training a dog, or working with a dog. More so because all they need to do is be able to sniff for bombs. The hands-on stuff they don't really need to do because they're not going to do it. They're not infantry units or above. That's why in recent years, infantry units and above have started the TED program, which allows infantrymen to be, without changing MOS, be able to handle canines, be canine handlers, and still be infantry because they are infantry first. Their tactics are combat related. They're not dog trainers playing operators. They're operators who just happen to have a dog, unlike the MP counterparts, which most military handlers up until recently have been. So if you are getting training from a company and the guy is a veteran and a former canine handler for the military, that doesn't mean that he is high speed. More than likely, he was an MP that was assigned, attached, or embedded with an infantry unit, an infantry team to go on missions, and his role was basically to look for bombs. The dog did not have to do anything besides look for bombs. Very few handlers in the military, even up until recent years, have been actually operators that have a dog. Most of them have been dog trainers, MPs that want to be or were playing operator. And this video right here is proof of it. This guy was, for lack of knowing anything about him, let's say he was a canine handler doing sit work. Can you see the flaws in what he was taught, what he was doing while he was overseas? No dog should ever stick their nose into an unsecure area. That is basic ideology, that is basic understanding, that is basic ways of an MP canine handler. Yes, he might be a veteran. Yes, he might have been a canine handler, but he was not high speed. He was not on an infantry unit as far as an infantryman that happened to have a dog. He was definitely not special forces, because there's no way that, one, the dog would stick its nose into an unsecure threat, and definitely would not have to be drugged away from the scent only to fight its way back to the scent. No, that dog is looking for the reward at the scent. which is something that infantry try not to do. They do it because, they're learning, but special forces and above definitely do not reward the dog at the threat. They pull it away, and this dog is looking for a reward at the threat. So, if you are going to a company like you see mentioned here, just because they're veteran owned does not mean you're going to get a dog to military or tier 1 top 5% of dog standards. No, you're going to get what they understand, which is basically the same thing that most guys do in the civilian anyway, the bare minimum, because the bare minimum is you just find the odor. You're not worried about safety. It's odor of the safety. Well, it should be safety of the odor. And then when it comes to bite work, as far as law enforcement and protection stuff, a lot of it's based on the sports world. It's just bite and hold. Even in a lot of the military units that are MP and below. And sadly, a lot of military dogs go through the Air Force base for what we call basic training. Those dogs are just taught the basics over the time they're there. Dogs can be there from anywhere from the standard 8 weeks all the way up to 36 weeks. But usually they do not go above 36 weeks. And the dogs that are there usually at 36 weeks shouldn't be in the program to begin with, because it took them longer to learn just the basics because there's something wrong with them. Dogs that go through the military program at the Air Force do not learn things that they need to be in infantry units. They're not airborne qualified. They're not air assault qualified. They are not specialized to be in infantry units. They just are trained in those work. That's basically the whole point of the Air Force. That's their specialized skill. The expertise is supposed to be bomb work. But as you see, the system that they are teaching to their handlers, and those handlers are coming out into civilian and teaching the populace, is flawed. So just because you see someone that says they are a veteran, and even if they are a veteran and a canine handler at that, from the military of any branch, does not mean that they are going to give you high quality dogs. Because, tell me, what benefit is the dog if it is dead because it stuck its nose into an unsecure location? Any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them below. Until next time.